One thing I'm thinking here, and Johan, let me get your thoughts around this one. It almost feels like, what's the phrase? Shoot for the stars, catch the moon. If we build the infrastructure, the technology infrastructure, because we touched on servitization is not right for every organization, every client within our organization. But if we build the technology infrastructure that allows us to deliver that servitized model, automatically we will be improving and building infrastructure that can future-proof our traditional break fix, perhaps PPM, preventative plan maintenance, everything in between. I've been talking quite a lot for the last 6 months about servitization should be more as a spectrum, not just outcome-based, which is a bit of a bugbear of mine. I'd love to get your thoughts around that, Johan. Do you think that, because there's so much, Dan's talked about AI, we've touched on IoT. I can remember reporting on IoT when it hit the top of the Gartner hype cycle and was the first thing I've ever seen just get to the top and then disappear and end up over on the right hand. That's never happened before. It didn't go down into the trough of disillusionment. I always get that wrong. It just suddenly was everywhere, a bit like big data. So suddenly it was something we were all talking about and then it was just there. There's so much change. Do you think that by automatically getting our technology infrastructure ready for servitization, we just improve everything? Should that be the approach, I guess? Johan, your thoughts?
Yeah, so to me, the main thing is that more of these servitization offerings needs to be proactive, as was mentioned by Mike. And in order to do that, you need historical data and you also need quality data. It's no use having all these silos of data available to you, but at the end of the day, you can't do anything with it. We need to be able to be predictive, and we also need to predict in a quality sense of way, so that we make sure that we can actually provide the services before they are required, in order to make sure that we don't get these breakdowns and companies sit without their services or they can't provide services because of these things. So yeah, I do think it's very important. We need the data. We need to be proactive, and we need to be providing these services before they're actually needed to be provided.
Yeah, exactly. It's thinking beyond just tomorrow, isn't it? It's thinking where are we going to be? That it's standard business practice, right? It's what's the 3, 5, and 10-year plan, and how do we build the infrastructure that supports that? But I think with so much change, societal, technological, that's gone on in the last 2 years, it can be hard to lose sight of that easy to lose sight of that long-term vision, because everything seems immediate at the moment. So I think that's a really good point, Johan. Gentlemen, you have all been so gracious with your time today and a huge amount of fantastic insights, as always, as I expect from HSO. I apologise to Johan and Mike because Dan has already brought up the expectation levels, and you guys have had to sit in with that, but you've done an excellent job. I've got one final question, which I shall put to each of you, the same question, gentlemen. And we've kind of dived into this a little bit, is for those organizations watching this thinking, right, we need to move into servitization. They can see the service leader there, can see the benefits, they can see the customer that we've talked about. They know that they've got that perfect prospect customer that they've got those relationships with, that they can really impact their own organization. Two questions, actually. I'm going to sneak an extra one in. First of all, what would be the one piece of advice you'd say for them to start that process? And secondly, what kind of expectation could they have from working with a company like HSO in terms of helping them to take those steps to build that first piece of steps towards servitized business? And Johan, I'll come to you first on this one. So what would be your advice for the service leaders, and what kind of level of support could they expect from any solution provider?
So firstly, touching on technology, from an HSO perspective, I do believe that we've got all the different components available in order to provide that platform to enable a company to provide these servitized offerings. And then secondly, in terms of what we expect from a solution partner like ourselves, I mean, we've got the expertise. We are here to guide you. We want to work with the customers hand in hand to ensure that they actually go on this journey in the right way. and to ensure that the outcome of it is a success to both ourselves as a solution provider or a technology provider, as well as to the customer providing a service to their end customers. So, yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Mike, the same question. What's that bit of advice that you could give somebody to make that first step? And, if there's more to add on what expectations they could get from a technology or solution provider.
Well, certainly from a success perspective, it's getting the right buy-in from leadership. So that's really the number one thing to buy into certainly on the customer side of things, and even as a services provider side of things, right? You have to have the right buy-in from your organization that's willing to do the investment and do that hard work to turn those offerings into something that's tangible and of value to clients. When it comes to HSO, we're very industry focused as well as platform focused. And I think that is really key to anyone out there looking for a partner, is find those individuals and those groups that have experience in your industry, that can bring in more than just technology knowledge, but that can bring in industry knowledge, right? So that you as a client aren't trying to bring them up to speed on your own industry. You're wasting cycles training them. If they already have that background and experience, you're going to find that the partnerships typically are a lot more enduring and a lot more impactful.
Which ultimately, enduring and profitable partnerships is the very fundamental that we're looking for when we talk about servitization. And Dan, you've got the unenviable task of trying to top both Johan and Mike's fantastic answers there. I've left you to the end because I bigged you up at the beginning, so now the pressure's completely on because they've given two great answers. You've got to try and match it. Think of something fresh and original, and it's got to be at the bar that I set for you. So zero pressure, Dan.
No, I think it's basically taking on from what they've both said, and really finding that partner who's willing to invest the time to learn about what makes you special in the business you're in. I think there's been a lot of movement in the last 10 or 15 years of organizations who convince themselves that they're not doing anything different from anyone else in their sector, or doing anything different from their competitors. They are. We know they are. They're probably, if they were looking themselves truly in the mirror, they know they're doing different things. And it's about really, coming to terms with the fact that the platform is there to help meet those unique selling points now. And getting away from that technology makes it easy. This technology makes it easier to do it for us. It means we can do it in no time and we can cut corners. It's really important to invest in the partner that is going to really invest in you and get the right solution at the end of the day. And in turn, that leads to what Mike was saying in terms of an enduring and lasting partnership, rather than repeating the cycle every 6 months when the reality bites.
Yeah. Fantastic. And you know what? That's a fantastic conclusion, other than for me to just point out, because what you were saying there, Dan, echoed incredibly well with something that's live at the moment on Field Service News. And obviously, as we record this, it'll already be there, is your colleague, Kevin, talking about how we avoid digital transformation failure. Echoes very much there. And there was something he referenced was the issue of the field of dreams failure, where this concept, if we just build it, they will come, doesn't work. We need to look at how we're going to build these iterative processes, and that's where a solutions partner really can come in and help us map out these bits, give us that guidance, and help us with those expectation managements as well. So I'll plug both of our content there by doing that. Look at that, what a winner! But it's a really excellent interview, and I'll put the links in there below. Hi there, Kris here from Field Service News. Hope you're doing well. Just a quick reminder that if you've caught your timing right on this and you're watching it as it's current, so July 2023, then you will be able to access the full-length version of this discussion. Just head over to FSN Free. There's links, depending on where you're watching this. If you're watching it on YouTube or LinkedIn, there's links below. If you're watching it from our site, the links may be to the side or at the bottom of the page, depending on what browser you're using and whether you're on mobile or desktop. But there will be a link below that will allow you to access the full content, taking about less than 30 seconds. You can sign in with LinkedIn now as well, and it's forever free, and you'll get a selection of monthly resources, and this month this is one of the great resources that's there. Always the resources are premium quality content, so it's worth signing up 30 seconds at a time. Go and check that out. Enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks for your time. Take care. Bye bye.